Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a YouTube custom thumbnail. This is a tutorial for YouTube beginners. So Gimp is the most dubious sounding image editing software out there, but yeah, we're going to use Gimp. It's free, download it, just Google Gimp, but don't let your better half look at your internet history. So we're going to create a new template and we're going to do 1280 by 720. So there we go, we just got a blank template here now, and that's set with the YouTube dimensions. So the first thing I'm going to do is quickly set a gradient on this background. Now this is my disclaimer, so anyone who watches this, and you can look at other YouTube videos and they produce these amazing works of art, I am by no means an expert whatsoever. I'm an absolute novice, but I'm trying to create my own YouTube videos and I just want something quick and easy and trying to get it out there. So this is what I do. If you don't want to use Gimp, and this looks overly complicated because there is a learning curve to this, if you don't want to use it and you'd rather use something a bit easier, then Canva is a great alternative. And I'll create another video using Canva. So this is the gradient tool. So we're going to set some colors, and on the right hand side here it'll say gradient type somewhere, and we're going to change that to radial. In other words, it starts with like a circle. So that'll do. Press enter. So the next thing we want to do is add an image. So let's just put thumbnail. So let's put thumb PNG. Change that to images. Now some of these, if you use them, you might have to mention where you've got them from. I'm going to use that one. See this little checkered background? That's kind of what we want. That basically means it's a transparent background. So the only part of the image we'll see is the actual thumb itself. So this one says free for commercial use, no attribution required. Perfect. Free download, go grab it. I am not a robot. So what I'm going to do, just drag that downloaded file into Gimp. There we go, one massive thumb. So left hand side, and we're going to resize this and rotate it a little bit. So we want this icon, and we want to make sure we've clicked on the thumb, and we're just going to click and drag. Press enter, and that saves it. Now we need to rotate it. So again, I'm going to change it to this one. It's fairly obvious, and you can hover over them and it'll tell you what it is. So I'm going to click and I'm going to spin it round. That'll do. Press enter. And then going to use these arrows going in every direction. I'm going to move it. That'll do. Enter. Next thing, we're going to put some text on there. Now this is where I should have thought this through a little bit, but we're going to go with fairly obvious YouTube. See what fonts we've got. So I'm going to go with that Dimbo, and I'm going to set it to, I'm going to keep it in red actually. And I'm going to make that size a little bit bigger. I'm just going to use these, see these little corner boxes? You can use that to kind of resize it and shift it around a little bit. So let's go with that. Now you can't see that because that's red and it's on a yellow and red background. So what I'm going to do, where it says YouTube at the bottom right hand corner on that layer, I'm going to right click on that, alpha to selection. See how it puts that little highlight around it? I'm going to click on this new layer. Okay, that. So this has created a new layer now. So basically it won't affect anything on that YouTube one. Select, grow. Let's grow it by 7. Might be too big. Let's try it anyway. And then I'm going to put a fill. I'm going to change this to white. I'm going to drag it. There, we're done. So now you can kind of see we've lost all that red and we've just got the outline. On the right hand side, see this was basically that area that we grew, it's that. So on the right hand side where you see your layers, we've got YouTube and we've got the layer. where they were just filled in. So I'm going to drag that layer down. So what I did was I dragged that layer that we filled in, I dragged it below YouTube. For some reason, when I'm running this screen recording software, it doesn't always let me click where I want it to click, so it wouldn't let me drag that layer. So you can see that I've done that, and now that white background is now behind the red YouTube that we wrote. So let's do that again, and what else can we write? Now again, so we just wrote thumb. Now again, I'm going to right click, alpha to selection, new. We get this new layer, select, grow, 7. Play around, experiment, see which looks the best. Now on this one, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to put a dark colour on there. So I want that fill button again. Ugh, and again. I can't drag and drop them, so I'm going to pause this and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so you're back with me. So we've got YouTube thumb, and let's just write tutorial, but we're going to change this. Let's just try a different font. I might put a little bit of gradient on that. So I'm going to add alpha to selection again. So see how we've got these little dotted lines around tutorial? That basically means that is the only part of this whole image that's going to change. So we click that gradient button again. And what we'll do, you want your gradient to be between these two colours. So let's set it as... What do we set it as? Let's just do that. It's just a slightly pale yellow. In fact, hang on. It's like say, it's not a world beater, but it's looking all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a background image as well. So let's just select none. And there's one I've downloaded before. So I'm just going to drop this in. Okay, and then what I want to do is just take the opacity right down on that. I want it to just be really, really subtle, not to 0, that's just stupid. So I've also dropped that right down, so the very first layer you've got is the background colour. You've then got that little image, background image, and then you've got your text. I just want it to be really subtle and just add a slight bit of texture in the background. That's probably enough actually. So I'm fairly happy with that. It's a little bit left-sided, but I prefer that to be honest, because on that right-hand side is where you're going to get your various buttons showing on YouTube. So no, I'm going to go with that. So then all we do is file save, export that, upload it to YouTube, and that's it. That's a little quick tutorial of how to add these little outlines. It could be that you wanted to add an image as yourself, so what I will do, let me just save that. Yeah, so it could be that you want to add a little image of yourself, you know, like all these YouTubers do where they've got themselves with an outline. I've got a few myself. The best thing there is to get an image of yourself, and you're basically going to have to spend some time cutting it out. There are a couple of like applications that you can get. I think Remove BG is possibly one, where you can cut yourself out of that background, but that's what you want. Let's get rid of, not that thumb, let's get rid of the thumb. And 2 seconds while I just find an image. So I've got these images that I've already cut out. I'm going to drag and drop one of them in here, and there's massive for me. And let's just resize that. So put the resize tool on. Sometimes I shock myself with how handsome I am. Let's just go with that. It's just for the sake of demoing this. Let's go with that. So what you do is, as you can see, I've already cut the background out on this. So it looks slightly odd because I've got this little square shoulder, but I don't really care. Done's better than perfect. So I've got this really attractive picture of me, grey hairs and everything. And basically, I've already cut the background out. So what I'm going to do, on the right hand side on your layer, select your picture, alpha to selection. Alpha to selection basically goes round the actual image that's there. It doesn't include a transparent background. So you see the little dotted line. So exactly like we did with the text. Then go to new layer, OK. Select, grow, and let's add a 6 on that. And we'll do exactly like we did before. So what we'll do is we'll fill. I've got a random little pixel there, so let me just get rid of that as well. So actually I'm going to fill that in a slightly brighter colour. So where's our layer gone? So as you can see there, I had to pause it again. So as you can see there, exactly like we did with the text, I've basically added alpha to channel, created a new layer, grown that layer, and then coloured it in. And then once you've coloured it in, it's just about changing the order of these layers on the right hand side. So you've got to. It's really hard to get your head around this. If you've never used Photoshop before, or Gimp, or any of these utilities, you've got to. Everything's done in layers. And it is literally like layers of paper. So you've got to think about what would be visible. So your very top one there that says YouTube, that's your top layer. The background is the bottom layer. So if as if I've just found the button that does it. Right, okay, so if I increase, watch this background now. So this is the background. If I press up, do you see how it starts going over everything? So once that background goes to the top, that is the first thing you're going to see. If we put that background back down to the bottom, as it works its way through, you can see all the different layers we've created. So, see them little squares in the background? If we get rid of them, to be honest, it might look a bit better without them, but I'm going to include them anyway. So basically, that's what we created. This yellow layer here, and the picture of me, click on that little eye, gets rid of it. Let's go back to the thumb. There you go, put the thumb back in. I think I prefer the thumb one. So, I'm going to go with the thumb one. So that's today's tutorial. If you want an easier way of doing this that maybe doesn't give you as many options but it's quicker, then Canva is a great option, and I'm going to create another video. So if you look in my library, you'll find another video where I use Canva.